Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah.
Paul Brapson. I'm looking at my phone because I have no idea what time it is of the day. Tuesday, September 24th, 6:33 p.m. Our two guests tonight returning, once again, Dave Beach.
Yes, sir.
And someone who needs no introduction anywhere in the civilized world.
Come on now.
Jason Lee Hance, man of many hats, does everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, I guess you're a DJ too.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I do some DJing on the side. I'm a teacher.
Nice.
Licensed plumber.
Coaches, plumber, barber.
Did some security on the Browns game a couple times. So I've done it all, man.
Unbelievable. But he missed his calling because he should have stayed in theater. He was in show choir at Barberton back in the early 90s.
Magic Singers?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And he was really good. Like, he could play any role. He could do the Jack Black, the Chris Farley, the Vince Vaughn. He could do them all.
Well, you can sing, right?
Yeah, I can. I got some pipes. I'm going to be honest.
How old are you?
Church.
How old am I?
Yeah.
51.
But you know Stephen Troy? He was a
yeah.
He was a big Magic Singer.
Oh, yeah.
Comes back every
Stephen
year.
and Julian?
Yeah.
The brothers.
Yeah.
The brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, I work with Stephen.
Okay.
He goes back every year for alumni night and sings and does a big theatrical.
And
Nice.
Stephen would have graduated in 91 with us, right?
Yep.
Okay. I vaguely remember him.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. Well, listen, we had a podcast going here for 10, 15 minutes before we even started tonight.
Right.
You know, fortunately, that stuff won't be viewed because of the intimacy of the conversation. Suge Knight.
Suge Knight.
You don't want any of Suge Knight, Paul.
I could care less about Suge Knight. He's a long way
You
from
don't
where
want
I'm
that
at.
smoke. I don't want that smoke. Hans doesn't want that smoke. I looked over at Hans when you were talking about Suge, and Hans went, He gave the Tom and Jerry goop. Anyways, Paul, start us off tonight, man. Listen, I'm exhausted. I came home from work, stopped in the house real quick, changed. I don't want to be the whiner, moaner, and complainer, but these are rough nights. Like
I think that's what you're doing.
I know I'm doing it, but like, I'm exhausted, bro.
I've seen this many a times. So what he does is he sets up a failure.
Right.
Is what he does.
100%.
It's one of those things where it's like, hey, listen, I've had a tweak in the hamstring.
I'm out.
I can't hit the ball the other way, let alone hit the ball. So then when you go 0 for 4 night, you're like, it's the hammer.
Right. I told you at the beginning of this, Coach, I wasn't doing that great
Yeah,
today.
exactly.
No, I got you.
Yeah, no, but okay, can I finish it? Can I finish?
Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just been a rough day. I'm tired.
I got you.
So I hope you guys can help me keep my energy up.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm passing the ball. And to get us started tonight, where do you want to go? Because you can talk about a plethora of things with these gentlemen across.
We can, I mean, literally this was set up to go a different way for a different podcast, but then the way it worked out, we've got two good guests.
Yeah.
Well, Paul
here
Howe was supposed to be here.
100%
So
Paul Howe.
we had to go on the Rolodex, find the next H in line, and it was Hans.
Megan Coster actually had and sat there and said she wanted to see the second podcast of the first one, which would have been with Paul Howe.
Yeah, I appreciate that. She was my rival for a long time on Facebook due to the LeBron James situation. Megan, shout out to you.
Well, start this up, Paul. Where do you want to go? What do you want to address?
I tell you what, the P. Diddy thing seemed like it kind of took off before the podcast started.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind touching base on that with seeing how this all works out. But
Well, there's multiple layers of that for sure.
oh, I can't wait till they start getting peeled back.
Yeah, but are we really going to see it?
Probably
I mean, we
not.
never got to see anything to do with Epstein, and apparently there was layers to that, and we didn't see nothing.
But it's still talked about, but you don't get to see nothing.
I think the P. Diddy thing is going to be the same thing.
I hope not. I mean, 800 dildos. I mean,
he's
all
a
the
freak.
lube. I mean, no,
Freak.
800. I mean, come on.
He's having freak offs.
Hans, I don't want any
you gotta come up
references to my book.
You got to come up
Go
with a
there.
better name than that, though. You know, like freak off. That's not even that cool of a name.
Yeah.
You got to have a better name than that, right?
Well, I can't understand how it's been so tight-lipped for so long. But then again, I think a lot of times things are right in front of our face and we deny them.
No, I'm going to agree, but I think a lot of it has to do with like the death. P. Diddy's wife that was the mother of his kids dead.
Yeah.
Tupac dead.
Craig
Yeah.
Mack.
Biggie dead.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that goes along with that.
Well, I mean, just look at Justin Bieber's songs. That's some serious stuff right there.
That's deep.
I mean, yeah, that's,
Right.
That's
And
pretty
Usher
bad.
too, right? Wasn't Usher?
Usher just deleted all of his what was it?
Twitter, wasn't it?
His Twitter
Yeah,
account, his
yeah.
tweets. Yeah, he just deleted them.
And you know that he gave him 48 hours custody.
Yeah.
He had custody of Justin Bieber and gave Diddy 48 hours of custody of Justin Bieber to him for 48 hours.
Right.
Yeah, he's
So
bragging
only imagine
all over.
what
He
happened
makes
there.
a video of like with Bieber standing next to him, and he's like, "I got custody. Why wouldn't you give me custody? 48 hours." Yeah.
Now there was a celebrity that came out and said, I feel bad for Justin Bieber about this, but nothing really went any further. So I'm really kind of interested to see exactly what he
When I was
I
I was disappointed more in guys like T.D. Jakes. From the religious establishment.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
I think sometimes going into Hollywood, well, you don't know as a kid.
Right.
But maybe the parents find out for the child, but you sell your soul to get in that business, I guess.
Which I think we've already heard. There's already been pedophilia and everything with kids in that Hollywood.
Yeah, but if your son has some kind of musical talent, okay, and Usher comes to you and says, "Hey, we're going to take your son and we're going to go here, and you're not going to see him for a while because we're going to mold him for the next 6-7 months." Are you going to allow that, especially at 13?
I don't think so.
12? No, I don't think I would either. I would be right there through the whole thing. If we were going to go, you're going to pay for me. We're going to do it as a family,
100%.
and I'm going to ride this thing out with my kid.
Well, I think that too, but I mean, do you see the society we're living in today?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, the society we live in today, you have people just handing children over.
100%. Right?
Yeah.
And you know, that's why he said the whole time, like with Justin Bieber, you're like, well, where are the parents in all this? Well, if they're given multiple millions of dollars to just shut up.
Yeah, money talks.
It's just going to be like, oh, okay, well then hopefully it all works out in the end.
But we don't have to be a part of that society.
No,
though.
you're right. You're exactly right.
But you're not going to get what they have. You're never going to make it to that pinnacle if you're not participating in their parties.
Yeah.
Yep. No, you're right.
To me, I look at it
They
as
will
like,
control the narrative of your career.
well, they're going to
You're going to be the $250,000 guy who's selling out the Boot Scoot Saloon. You're not going to be the guy who's
But who
selling
cares
out.
though? If your kid's safe, everything's good. Who cares about the money?
Well,
Who
and
You think that?
Yes, exactly. Paul, you're saying that as a sane individual, good family, you run a business, you get it. You're not talking about the other half. Folks that are coming from bad situations that all they want is that dollar.
Yeah.
They want to get out of the situation they're in, and they want to be cool. They want their kid to be cool. So they're not even thinking about what could come.
Well, like one of those things that resonated with me being older, which you'll understand, and Dave, you'll understand, being older, having small kids.
Yeah.
It's not, like a lot of people sit there and say, oh man, I'd die for my kid. Shit, I'm trying to live for him. I'm trying to gain years.
Yeah, but the die for your kid isn't an expression like you're.
No, I get what you're saying, right.
Like if the guy comes in here with a gun, I'm going to fall on my kid and I'm going to get the shot first.
Right, 100%.
That's die for your kid, in my opinion. Die for your kid, like you go out there and sell your soul for $1 million for your kid to make it. I don't know if that's the case.
No.
Well, there's nothing heroic about dying for your own children.
No.
We all would do that.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat without thinking twice,
I think
right?
that's instinct. I don't know if like Zeke just pointed out, that's not heroism. That's kind of like your instinct.
No, but like I said, it resonated with me with, like you hear people, which you know where they're going when they say that. But really, you should live for them, not die for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And technically, you're living for them every day. You get up for work, you go to work, you come home, you take them to football practice, or you coach football practice. You're living for them anyways.
This sounds personal, Dave. You coaching?
Yeah, of course. Just got our first win versus Norton. Shout out to Chippewa Black.
Take down the Panthers.
I did. I mean,
they're not going to say a peep about their Cleveland Browns.
No.
They don't even want to go.
First of all, Dave liked it because I actually sat there and said, "Let's go Detroit." I've actually washed my hands with that. I'm
Detroit.
done.
You
It's
already
already
walked away from the Browns?
I'm not. Listen, I was a 10-year season ticket holder. My whole life grew up in a family with all Pittsburgh. Everybody.
Yeah.
Went to Pittsburgh as a kid because my mom and dad was good friends with one of his Vietnam buddies that my dad went to Vietnam with.
Right.
So I was in Pittsburgh as a kid. I went to more Pittsburgh games as a child than anything.
Yeah.
And came out the only Browns fan in the family. Season ticket holder for 10 years, die hard. That's all I wanted to do was Browns. And literally, now they're building a, $3.2 billion stadium?
Yeah.
That the taxpayers got to pay 75% of that they agreed of. Why don't you put a team on the field that's worth looking at before you ask me to pay 75% of $3.2 billion?
Well,
I'm good.
Hans has done security for the Browns.
I have done security for the Browns.
What do you think of it? What's
Their
your-
food's really good. I can tell you that for sure. Their spread is top notch.
When you were there, were you just walking around like you owned own the place.
Absolutely.
Like you point to different opposing players and say, "What's up?" Dapping them up.
Absolutely.
That's sweet.
I tell you what, though, with the Browns, where do you start? That's the thing, because we, as many times as we've blown it up and start again, and blow it up and start again, and then it's Hugh Jackson, it's Romeo Cornell, it's we just keep Pettit, we keep going through all these guys. So then we got a guy who's got a 2-year time to where he's been coach of the year.
Right.
But yet the result is not what it's supposed, like the eye test isn't passing.
We're going
the
backwards.
$234 million quarterback that failed. That's
that's what's crazy about it. Like,
we should have kept Baker.
Now, granted, I know we're talking to Browns fans, but you talk to Browns fans and they go, "It wasn't his fault Sunday because the line was horrible."
Oh no, it's his fault.
I 100%. I'm blaming the front office. I'm blaming the front office. You can't really go at players because everybody has bad days. Not one person on a 12-man team can do everything at once.
Yeah.
You can't control everything. I mean, look, we got one of the best defensive players in the league, and he can't control everything at once.
That's more concerning with the Browns than anything is their defense. And I think because defense is effort. And when they keep they can't get off the field on third down.
I mean, just the penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they can't stay off the field. Your offense is 3 and out every time.
True.
There's only so many times you can go out there and stop them before percentages tell you that eventually they're going to get something that works.
Does Chubb make that big of a difference, or is it no?
He controls the game. Now right now they're just not playing the run. Chubb's in there. You have to at least respect what he does and respect the run. So now they're not packing in the box. They're just firing off some exotic defenses at him and trying to make them pass them with it or beat them with their arm.
And the thing I don't understand is when you watch other teams across the league, where you just insert a Jaden Daniels, and then it's like, oh, well, that looks like a competent offense,
Right?
Yeah. Or
should have kept Baker.
I think, and you know what? The crazy thing about that is like when people go, well, we should have kept Baker. We know as well as I do with the NFL and with front offices and coaches, they want their own guys. Mm-hmm. So when they come in, they want to put their stamp on it. They want their own guys. And when you do something like that, that's basically going, okay, I'm putting my name on it. I know that I'm probably going to be on the chopping block if it don't work out. And I'm going to live and die by it. These are my guys. And I don't understand that concept rather than just going, hey, here's the team that's coming in. Mm-hmm. I mean, we see it all the time. Like, I was thinking about this the other day with high school basketball. Okay? So you have coaches that coach high school basketball, and they have kids that come in that are athletes, but then try to form them into something that's non-athletic.
Right. I get you.
Or they're saying, hey, we've got this offense in football. I've ran this offense for the last 40 years. Well, we have totally different players now. That's okay. I'm going to force them into that offense and make them do what I want them to do because this is my offense. Rather than going, okay, we've got a good running quarterback. We're going read option.
RTO.
Yeah. And so rather than doing that, they go, nope. We're going to stand in a pocket and throw it all around, and we have nobody to catch it.
Yeah, because they haven't coached. They haven't picked out their offense of what they can do.
Yes, absolutely.
Your reference to the kid for the Commanders?
Yes.
Yeah. My Commanders.
Your Commanders, yes.
My Redskins.
Actually, they looked good last
They
year.
did look good last year.
Excellent.
Yes.
Credit to Kirk Herbstreit, because Herbstreit called this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
He said that kid would be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
And he's looking incredible. This is incredible.
I hope he has a good year, but 3 games, 4 games, half it hasn't.
Well, yesterday was only his first touchdown pass too, so
we'll see what happens.
But he was dropping dimes.
He looked good.
Yeah, man,
Looked
was
good.
he dropping dimes. Phew.
But as far as the Baker goes, I don't miss Baker at all.
See, I liked Baker. I didn't want to get rid of Baker. I thought the Browns, as well as Baker, mishandled the injury on the shoulder. Baker, of course, wants to go out there and play because he's just a competitor and he wants to win.
Yeah.
And the Browns are telling him, well, if you can play, you can play, because he's trying to earn that contract and prove himself to Stefanski. So they're not shutting him down. They're letting him kind of hang himself, and he's out there just taking a beating.
He did take a beating.
Running around there taking a beating with the torn rotator cuff. You know.
See, I know he wanted to be that one coach. I mean, Browns haven't been relevant since we talked about this last time. What, 86, 87?
Yeah.
Well, no,
I mean, at all.
The late
Yeah.
90s, they were challenging.
Oh, what'd they do?
Even in the early 2000s.
We made the playoffs our very last year. The very last year we were here, we made the playoffs.
Yeah, but we haven't been relevant as far as, and nobody's worried about playing Cleveland.
No.
I think most people see us on the schedule and they're like, no big deal.
Yeah.
Well, with a guy like Baker, too, you watched him enough to where he could not make simple throws. He'd throw them way high.
Way
He'd
high,
sail them.
correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Short.
Like, just simple throws he couldn't make.
I mean, I'll give you that.
You know what
you're
I'm
right
saying?
about
It would
that.
just would be you'd grow frustrated.
But that's something you can teach. You know, that's
Yeah.
footwork.
But how
that's
much-
stand and pose up instead of dropping that leg back. That's all technique you can. You know, sometimes Baker had a problem with drop back and opening up his stance when he throws.
Yeah.
And that's mechanics. You know, you can work on that. Work on that.
No, I get you, but how much longer do we have to wait? Cleveland fans want wins
I mean,
now.
he's doing pretty damn good in Tampa. They've only lost once.
But Tampa's got a way better team,
I
way
mean-
better front office. They got way better players around
Yeah,
them. I mean, it's just.
you did give him Mike Evans. And
He turned
Godwin
around and
a
came
Super
right
Bowl
after
ready
Brady.
Team. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Super Bowl ready team.
I mean, they had everything ready for Brady. So I mean, like I look at Mahomes. Is Mahomes a good quarterback?
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady.
Let me tell you something. The Chiefs
Is Mahomes?
are
No, seriously.
arguably the luckiest team
100%.
I've ever seen in my life. They win every game, and then one player or two, they could be 0-3 right
I
now.
talked to somebody about this the other day. What people fail to realize, they always go, well, they always get those calls. That's because of their expectation.
Good team.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's no different than, like I coached girls basketball for years, and we
Right.
would play a team that's super aggressive against us and would press us the whole game. And they would just ride them up and down the court. And I would scream at the ref, and they're like, what do you want me to do? Like, this is the way they play.
Right.
Yeah.
Your girls are timid. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
So you have to. They're giving the benefit because they're good.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the refs are going to go, well, it had to be an interference because he would have caught it.
Right.
If he didn't.
And as a coach, what was one of the things you always said? If the game's being called by a ref that made a decision, you didn't do your job.
You didn't do your job.
You didn't do your
No.
job.
Absolutely. Don't put it in their
Never
hands.
leave it up to the
Yes.
refs.
And the good teams always find a way to win.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, look at
again-
Pittsburgh. Look at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
3-0 Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody wrote off Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
talking about they're the last team in the league.
Yeah.
3-0.
Now, I'm not taking anything
Incredible.
away from
It's the
Pittsburgh, but
best
they're
franchise
playing the
ever.
bottom half of their schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
up
yeah.
front, but I'm not taking anything
Because
away.
Tomlin's taken a lot of criticism. I've been a critic of Tomlin. Who hasn't? Like
Yeah, who
the
hasn't?
The Steelers just keep fucking winning.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
Isn't it?
It's the organization.
Good organization, good
You know,
front
I hate
office.
to
In our
Steelers,
lifetime,
but
they've
it's-
had 3 coaches.
It's the great
Right.
one of the greatest
Coaches.
franchises of all time in any sport.
But like,
From top to bottom.
yeah, and like what you said, Paul, they're playing the bottom half.
Right. But they're winning.
They're supposed to beat the bottom half.
Yeah. Right. And we're losing.
they are.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, if you would ask Tomlin now, like, hey, man, do you believe you're 3-0? He'd be, yeah, we just played the bottom half. We should beat them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Where us is like, hey, man, we squeaked one out. We're looking good.
But the good thing is about playing the bottom half, it's almost like those teams that you play when you just start. And you try to get them like low-level teams to get your confidence up. So once you get 3-0,
those MAC
4-0,
schools.
right? You get 3-0, 4-0.
Yeah, Max
No offense to the MAC schools.
or Ohio State
By time-
smacking around the MAC schools.
Which that's
Yes.
starting to irritate.
It's
me, too.
old, ain't it? It's just
It's
old.
starting-
Michigan's rolling
how is,
through.
He's just
How
keeping
is-
that
hey,
money in Ohio. That's what
How's
he's
Leffler's team doing this year? How are
Not
they
too
doing?
bad.
They're
They're not
doing
too
all right?
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they'll probably
all right.
be. I think they're middle of the pack or yeah. they're in the
I
MAC.
haven't followed any of that this
Yeah.
year. I've
So
been
again,
busy.
is Patrick Mahomes a good quarterback?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, he's great. Patrick Mahomes is a winner.
I haven't
He's a-
seen-
The kid just wins.
He's a creator.
So it's
Yeah.
me against you three because I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. But what I'm saying is when you come into the NFL and you jump on a team like that, where do you go?
Well, I
now
mean-
take Patrick Mahomes and put him on Cleveland. Is Cleveland going to win and go to the Super Bowl? Is he going to have good stats? No, because you don't have the players.
I think
around
if you build around him, you would.
that Cleveland can't build around anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
without an
but you
offensive
left
line,
the-
he struggles probably. But still, I mean,
The things
I'm not taking anything.
You're talking about one of the top. He's at least top 5 all time. Right now.
They've got the 2 fastest players in the NFL on their team. Great defense, great offense. Arguably the best tight end in the league.
But someone still
arguably the best receiver in the league.
He still has to give them the ball.
100%.
Right. And they believe in him, Paul. So they play at a higher level because they believe in that guy.
And again, because his confidence is way up.
I come in here to the podcast. I believe in you 3, so I'm doing better tonight than I normally would.
You already conceded at the beginning of it.
You conceded, but you guys have raised my level. I felt low. I came in. I feel like the hammy, and then you guys have raised my level tonight.
Didn't he check out at the beginning?
Yeah, he did check out.
This guy was unbelievable. You guys
but he's on the IR.
Mahomes has that LeBron effect. You know, like,
here we go.
And I'm not, but when guys play for LeBron, guys step up and play for LeBron. They see LeBron in there working hard, or any top tier athlete. You're going to work harder. If you're the low guy on the team and you're just in there taking practice reps, you're going to ball out at practice reps because you know LeBron James is on the other side, and you know you're one step away from being replaced for the other guy who's going to hustle.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with it, and I'm not saying that Mahomes is a bad quarterback. I'm just saying
What about Jackson? What about Jackson for the Ravens? I think he's tremendous.
Personally, I think Jackson's a better quarterback than Mahomes. Personally, I think he's a better
passer.
He does a better job on a worse team with not as many weapons, and he does. And he does way better.
With that.
I don't think anyone does more than Lamar Jackson.
You take Lamar Jackson, put him on the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think it's a whole different Lamar Jackson.
What's that?
You can't win with Lamar Jackson.
No, I disagree with that. If you take Lamar Jackson, you put him on the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think you'd have the same results.
Xavier Worthy would be Zay Flowers. That's what it would be.
You'd have the same results.
It would be no different than, like, we've never heard of, Xavier Worthy until we watched him and how he gets him the ball in space.
I've heard of Xavier Worthy, but I'm a football guy.
But I know he was the fastest at the combine. Take Xavier Worthy off that and put him on the Browns. He's Elijah Moore.
Yes.
That's what he is.
No, I get you.
And it's like, he is going to put you in a situation. He's not going to make a mistake. He's going to extend plays.
You're speaking of Mahomes.
Yes. Yeah. And he's going to extend plays. Now, Lamar Jackson does the exact same thing.
Right.
But Lamar Jackson does it with his feet.
Correct.
And will produce and find a way. But like they say in the NFL, you're one hit away.
I haven't liked Lamar Jackson until the last probably 2 or 3 seasons, till he became a passer. Yeah. Once he became a passer, I'm like, dude, he's a good quarterback. I took everything away from him.
He's a good quarterback.
Lamar Jackson.
He's not Michael Vick.
If Lamar Jackson was playing for the Browns, Cleveland would love him.
Because
Jackson beats. He's just a dog.
He's not Michael Vick.
No,
he can throw better than Michael.
No, Michael Vick can sling it left-handed with the flick of the wrist 70 yards.
But Michael Vick didn't ever come close to sniffing winning anything.
Yeah, but he was in the playoffs. If he doesn't go to jail them 5 years or 4 years, whatever he was in there,
Lamar Jackson hasn't either.
True.
I think that team was set up to go to the Super Bowl.
He might have. He might.
They made it to the first round, second round of the playoffs.
It's Eagles Falcons.
Yeah, Eagles Falcons. Or no, the Falcons.
Dirty Bird.
Falcons.
Nonetheless,
they were nice.
Nonetheless, whether I agree or don't agree, he changed the culture of the league. All these quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, everything followed after Michael Vick.
Vick was incredible.
Yeah, he was the AI of the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good comparison.
Before we go any further here, we got to put Hans on the spot. Hans does chip reviews. Hans does chip reviews. You ever seen Hans's chip review? We're asking Hans's audience, his chip review audience, to come on over to the podcast channel.
Right.
And can we get a chip review from you real quick?
Yeah,
I love
chips. So
we can pick up the sports conversation in a minute, but I didn't want this to get left out.
I'm a chip connoisseur myself.
Oh, really?
I swear on everything. I buy every kind of different chip that I can come across.
Okay. So, Beach, here's the thing.
I'm a chip connoisseur.
Okay, this is true story. Hold on, Jay. He sits at home in the comforts of his house.
Recliner.
Recliner. He's got his beautiful wife Lori cooking something. His daughters.
Meatloaf.
His daughters in the background cheering you on. Mackenzie. Abby cheering you on.
Cheering me on.
Got all the moral support. And he gets his phone out and he can just record, right? He doesn't do it live.
Yeah.
So he can edit that, right? Now he's on the podcast and we're live here, right?
Okay.
All the pressure.
Little pressure.
And when he's doing the review, He's tasting the chip and he's telling you about it, but we don't know. Tonight we could taste it too to see how accurate you are.
Okay.
Right?
Have you ever heard of-
all of us can taste the chip.
Okay.
To see if you're just joshing us.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of
This
chips
may
and
be a
giggles?
bad one. I'm telling you right now.
I'm not eating
like you're
chips.
setting up your pulled hamstring. I may be setting up my ACL.
First of all, where did you get that bag of chips? You got
this
it from
bag
your
of-
school,
hey,
didn't you?
no,
In the vending machine.
No,
You- oh, come
no.
on, man.
I have I have a couple people that call me, want me to drop off chips, do different things like that. They'll send them to me in the mail.
Yeah.
They keep asking me to do the one chip challenge, which I'm going to have to find a couple days off. Because it usually comes out either one or two ways, out the front or the back. So, but that's okay. So we're going to do that one. But this was brought back from Mexico.
Really?
Yeah. So a couple went
So we
down
are
there
gonna get the
for a
shits.
vacation.
Nice.
So so you're gonna have a little problem here. So
Yeah.
it's called Pro, and I think it's plantaininos. They're plantain
Doesn't have any
chips.
Mexican
All right.
water in it, does it?
Oh, it doesn't have any Mexican water in it. Sabor ayo garlic is what it is. There's a lot of fuente de fierro. I think that's fiber. So we're gonna have some fiber.
No, because
Hey,
because you
always.
get fiber in bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay,
gluten
yes,
free.
yes, yes.
Always got to go gluten free. Okay. I don't like
What
I
is
said
gluten?
before on my chip review. I have no idea what gluten is.
Yeah.
I don't care what gluten is.
Yeah.
I'm eating gluten.
Hey, so
it doesn't matter.
So let's just hand this over to you right now. Go ahead and do your
Okay.
I want to taste one just so I can.
You want to taste one? Okay. So first thing, usually I rip it open because you're gonna get
It's a
the.
lot of air, right?
Yeah.
A lot of
Smell,
air in
but you're
there.
gonna get
Yeah.
the smell. You're gonna.
Okay. So we've got stale bananas. Is what we're smelling here.
Great.
Okay.
It's got kind of a musty smell to it.
Can I get one without you putting your hand on it? Can I like?
Why are you
No,
a little
did you
OCD
wash
with
your
that?
hands? Yeah, very
I
OCD.
wash my hands
Okay,
for the
then,
love of God.
Okay, give me one. So I want
People on they read your book, and
wanna-
you're worried about dirty hands. For the love of God!
Hey.
I mean, for the love of God,
Is that another
you
reference
are
to page
eating out of the
222?
trash bins
That
in
was
Haiti, and you go, "Hey, can you not get that with your dirty
Hans
hand?"
always likes to reference 222.
let's not even go there.
Stop it. Okay, I want one.
You
I
know
want to
you-
start sucking on it, and taste it, getting the taste. I want to because I want to see how accurate you are. On this
Easy,
stuff.
Diddy. We'll get to that point here in a minute. Relax. Okay. Okay. So plantinos, plantain chips. So usually look in the bag, see about the air.
Yeah.
So this is the Mexicans are doing the exact same thing. The Hispanics are doing the same thing. They're jipping us with the
They're
air
jipping
because
us
it's
off.
over
Lot of
about
air.
a quarter. It's a lot of air in it.
Yeah.
I usually look at the chip to make sure. So we got like a hard, you can see there's a hard chip. I usually call these like roof rippers because you get them into the roof of your mouth.
Does it
and buddy,
look-
the
it looks
kettle
like a
chips,
dried banana.
It is basically looking like a dry banana
It's a
made into a
plantain.
chip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic Haiti all the way.
So are they big in Haiti?
We eat those all the time. We get them
Really?
from an African store in Akron.
Okay.
Yeah.
So immediately I get the garlic right off the bat. The aftertaste is god awful because it just goes from garlic to the bland. Nothing
Yeah.
else after that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a hard chip, but as you start to chew it, it's soft.
It gets soft, yeah.
It gets a little bit softer there. I kind of like it. I'm a dried fruit guy, so I like dried fruit, but these are bland. A lot of plantain chips are bland. So basically, all they're doing is the dusting on it.
Yeah.
This is not a ton of dusting on it, not a ton of garlic on it. Not a bad chip. I mean, coming from Mexico, not a bad chip. They're doing their jobs down there. They're doing the work. I would have to say, out of this here, for a plantain chip,
Yeah.
you're looking at about 7-1.
7-1.
7-1.
That's a pretty good score for
Yeah,
that.
That's
that's
not
what
a
I
bad
say.
score.
Yeah.
It's not overwhelming, which is good.
Right.
So you can eat a lot of these. The thing with plantain chips too is also they can pack them pretty full on the bottom.
Yeah.
They're small, they're thin. So you guys want to try one?
Yeah, sure.
I'm
I've
good.
been waiting the whole time.
So
Right?
a fun fact about the air in the bag.
Hold on, hold on.
they-
Hey. You're holding on that kind of tight.
They put the air in the bag like that for shipping purposes
No,
when it comes to shipping them from different
cell phone
altitudes and stuff to allow the band to expand and not expand.
Is this something you got from the band, being in the Band-Aid industry?
Yeah, actually,
Really?
because
It's like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
That's why I asked.
a lot of some of the material we work with is we coat some of this metallized film for like bandages and things.
You're right. The
So
garlic
some of
right
the-
away.
Some of the film that we coat is used in food packaging. So one time we had the rep in, and they were giving us fun facts about the film, but they put air inside these chip bags for shipping purposes for different altitudes to allow the bags to expand and not expand. Because if you wouldn't, the bags would just all blow up.
I got you.
Is there a certain type of gas they put in that?
It's just air.
It's just air.
Compressed air.
Okay.
That's a pretty good review, Hans, because you were right. Right away, you taste the garlic.
And right away, it goes away, too.
It goes away instantly. Yeah.
You ever heard of the podcast called Chips and Giggles?
No. Pretty good one.
Yeah, it's my brother and sister-in-law, and
okay.
they live in Dallas, Texas, and they do a chip review. They started somewhere around COVID, being all trapped inside.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Called Chips and Giggles. And they go through and they get a drink and a chip.
Oh, okay.
So they get some kind of beer, some exotic beer, and then they get an exotic chip. And then they take a sip of the beer and they give their reviews, and then they eat their chips and they give their reviews. But they're called Chips and Giggles.
Nice.
You're right about
Have
the
to look at it.
aftertaste, too.
Aftertaste bland.
And
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
leaves.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. I don't have to give Hans credit. That's pretty good stuff.
All right.
Credit to you.
Sounds good. Hey,
I would
thank you
give
very
that
much.
probably a 6-1.
Go
just because of the
6-1?
just
Just
because of the
that bland?
bland.
Yeah.
The
That
bland
little
kind of
bland there.
ruins the whole thing for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I just got stuck there.
Yeah.
You're right, Beach. You're right.
Yeah.
definitely.
Jason Harrison, a guy, him and his wife went to
Brought
Mexico
those?
and brought those back for me.
Really?
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Jason.
It's just funny that people sit there and think about, man, I'm gonna mail them to them. I'm gonna bring them
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, Hans. So if we're being honest, we brought you on tonight so we could get more views because of your fans. Because of your fans on your page.
Come on now.
Okay, you know we're always honest here. It's all the pressure. We're honest about it. We're
Hey,
transparent.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So a little off the subject. You brought up Haitians.
Yeah.
What do you think about Springfield, Ohio?
Oh, Paul's put me on the spot.
Yeah, what do you think about Springfield, Ohio?
you know, people-
because that's real.
People in
Do you think it's as real though as what is being told, or do you think it's real but it's being blown up?
Well, no. What was that guy that was running against Trump? The younger guy, Valak, or what's his name?
Vic, I want to say Vikram, but it's not Vikram.
the darker skin?
Yeah, he was
Rams,
just that.
yeah.
He was just in
actually
Springfield.
I like him a lot.
In the venue they picked up, he only got one where it would hold like 400 people because
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't expecting the turnout, and over 3,000 showed up, but they couldn't all get in. So all the
And he
peop-
was there because of the Haitian situation.
Well, he was there just because, Trump had said it because of the dogs and animals being eaten.
Okay.
So now all these politicians have gone, no, I can't say all of them. He's actually gone there for this purpose, but there's obviously been news people that's gone there to interview people. And it's really, I don't know if there's really dogs and cats, but it has came out that there's been geese that's been cut, been hung,
Yeah,
and
like
being
Ken.
gutted. and-
Beach likes fun facts. I'll give you a fun fact. I could have been down there working maybe a year ago.
Well,
I was offered to go down there and work, translate, stuff like that.
Well, I
right?
was about to say, because supposedly there was over 3,000.
They said 20,000.
No,
Or was it 20?
There are probably 20,000 Haitians currently in Springfield.
Okay.
And I think the population is maybe now 50. Maybe
Yeah.
it was 30 at
Yeah.
20. But listen, desperate people do desperate things. So whether it's in Haiti or any country, if you don't have the means to eat, sometimes you're going to eat whatever you find. So have Haitians eaten domestic animals before? Of course. But Americans have too. Other people have too. They do all kinds of things in West Virginia and Tennessee, right?
Or the Great Wall. Remember when remember the Great Wall
Yeah.
downtown Barberton? The guy was killing the geese because
Yeah.
he in his culture where he was from, you could just kill the geese and chop them up and serve
Right,
them.
right.
He was going down
Exactly.
to Lake Ann and killing the geese.
This
and
is that
stuff.
Chinese. Was that the
Yeah,
Chinese?
before Super China,
Okay.
it was called the Great Wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he got shut down because he was catching geese at the Barberton Lake, chopping
Chicken.
them up, serving them up,
Hey.
and he got caught.
Listen, in any event, remember when you talked about, hey, you said, hey, we need to do a podcast about all these foreigners coming to Barberton.
Yeah.
Remember? Okay. So Springfield, I mean, it's not all white, but all of a sudden, over a course of a year or two, you have all these black people from Haiti moving in. So the culture's changing. You get a lot of white people who aren't used to that. Maybe they don't like it. I don't know. And I think some things were said, maybe joking or just because they were mad about whatever. And before you know it, that takes off with the propaganda machine, and then all of a sudden it becomes a big story. I don't think, though, it is what they were. I was a little embarrassed that Trump went that far. like to try to demean the Haitian people in Springfield because you didn't have much evidence as it was anyways. Like it wasn't like nobody's shown evidence really of that. Like they had the one black man carrying the geese.
Yeah.
They said the guy was from Africa. He was from somewhere in Africa. He wasn't even Haitian.
See, I don't know.
So this is what happened. A Haitian that came to Springfield early on, he started driving a car and he didn't have a fucking license. And he hit a school bus and a kid was killed. And since then, they haven't forgiven the Haitians in that community. And I think that more than anything has driven this.
Yeah, the hate.
Yeah. And then in a political season where you have an election, people are going to use whatever they can get.
To be 100% honest, I didn't even know about it until he said it. Then I was like, what's he talking about? Then I started looking into it, and I'm like, oh, there are people over there. There are Haitians over there.
I'm going to touch base on what you just said about the foreigners coming into Barberton. Barberton's always been a hot spot for foreigners. I can remember in the early 2000s during the Bosnia crisis.
Yeah.
Barberton accepted lots of Yugoslavians and a lot of Bosnians. Filled up a lot of these machine shops that were here, J&R, B&W. Filled them up. Yeah, that we accepted, I can think somewhere around 3,000 and don't quote me on that, but I remember we were accepting Yugoslavians and Bosnians for a long time in the early 2000s.
Let me say Yugoslavians, Bosnians, whatever. They're more our color. They're not black.
Yeah.
They don't speak Haitian Creole. So sometimes I think for white people it's easier to get along or accept another race coming in that looks like them.
Yeah,
right?
I can agree to that. Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
But then even go back further, look at all the bars that are here. The Hungarian club. There used to be a Yugoslavian club.
Yeah.
So that kind of heritage runs deep here anyways. Barberton's always been a melting pot in acceptance of foreigners.
Which I'm good with. I don't have any problems with it because we're all foreigners here anyways, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But when people in a mass are just dropped off in an area for purposes, at that point there's an issue.
There is something to be said, though, about the American masses. They're just trying to go along, to get along, to work, to pay their bills and live. And then you got foreigners from everywhere coming in, and the government is handing out food stamps and housing and this and that. And so then, we're like, okay, but what about the Americans that were born here? Now they feel left behind, that they're being neglected by their own government, right?
Yes,
for foreign people. So I think that creates some resentment. I mean,
my problem isn't with the foreigners that are here. My problem is with the reason they're here and the people why they got put here, the government. Mm-hmm. That's my issue. It's not the foreigners that's causing the problems because the government could have never let them in, or they could have handpicked and said, "Hey, do this."
There used to be a lot of jobs around here that you could get them, and nothing against the people that work at JR Engineering or research or anything of that. Yeah. I did that for 5 years, and it's an awful job. But them guys will do it for no money. They'll work, and I remember when they first started coming in, we had to put up signs, that Serbian signs and Bosnians, that people could read them because there were so many. We were outpopulated.
So you knew about this because you were working there when this was all going down.
Yeah, because I could remember being a supervisor, and one day they hire 5 of them, and then the next week you have 10 of them, and then the next thing you know, that's a whole back shift.
And oftentimes they don't speak any English.
No, and
you can't communicate.
I'm writing things down, and I'm trying to do whatever I can to speak to these people, and they were supposed to come with an interpreter,
right?
And you were supposed to hire them, and they were supposed to be just as much of a worker as the next guy. They just knew English, and you could talk to them, and then you'd communicate. But half the time, there wouldn't be anybody in there, So I'd be in there late on the third shift, me and another guy, and then there'd be 6 Serbians that speak no English. So
makes it for a hard workplace, don't it?
A hard workplace, and it's a little uneasiness because they're speaking amongst themselves, and you don't know what they're saying.
You know what they're saying.
So
they're saying Beach is a real dick.
Right. And I'm sure.
Hey, did you read Zeke's book?
Was I in it? Did I make it?
But funny. Dave, there are a lot of foreigners in this country that they'll work their ass off, and it doesn't matter the job.
Yeah.
Where a lot of Americans are really lazy and won't work and don't want to work.
And I accept that. I encourage them people. I'm all about immigrants and people coming across. If they do it correctly, there's obviously a way to go about it. But this whole country was built off of immigration
100%,
and
right.
the melting pot, and people coming in on this end of the country and people coming in on this end of the country, and eventually they met in the middle, and we were all based upon that. So I'm all for immigration. I like that. I like being able to come and go.
Oh, yeah.
People, but
Could I dare to breach?
there's got to be a good way about it.
Indians were here first, Dave.
You're right.
So, I mean, they weren't immigrants; they were the real people.
Well, and
right?
I think too. I think what it has become, and we've talked earlier about our society. We're using our citizens as pawns,
Right.
And we're what we're doing is we're taking one against another. So whether it is, it's just pounded on us by social media, it's pounded on us by podcasts, it's pounded on us by Instagram, it's pounded on us by everything that you can imagine, that when we walk down the street, that individual is different than you. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden you have this preconceived notion on what this person's doing, how this person acts, and then you now become judgmental against that individual.
Right.
Rather than saying that individual, and I'll go a little religious, is a child of God.
Right, exactly.
Bleeds the same way I do and has a soul like I do.
Yeah, yeah.
So, as a teacher, I deal with, 3 hours in the morning with juniors and 3 hours in the afternoon with seniors. I become a coach, a teacher, a counselor, a motivational speaker, a mentor,
Yeah.
all these things you have to do in that 3 hours.
Right.
And at the end
You
of the
become
day,
a dad to a lot of those young men that don't have one.
So at the end of the day, I have to put aside whatever my preconceived notion is, but then also teach these young men that's in there, these young men that are in there to not listen to the narrative.
Right.
That's what I have to do.
It's tough to do. It's tough for them to grasp that,
It is.
Just because, like you already pointed out, everything is pushing down you to say the exact opposite, you know? So for the young mind to grasp that is so overwhelming to them, and I can only imagine. I know how overwhelming it was when I was in school to try to grasp things like that, and there wasn't the Instagrams, there wasn't
Right.
phones. You had a pager, and there was barely any internet, and it was dial-up, and it would take time to. So you wasn't caught up on world events, and you wasn't caught up on the propaganda machine coming down on you at all times.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how hard it is for the younger kids, because I know how hard it was when I was a kid.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this, Dave. Did you grow up in a two-parent family home?
No.
Okay.
I grew up in a one-mom home.
Okay.
Poor, with no water sometimes, no
Okay.
electric, paying bills at 12.
Did you get encouragement when you came home?
Absolutely. My mom, I was a single mom, I was with a single mom,
Yeah.
and she cheered me on. She didn't say, hey, don't go get a job to pay the bills. She said, hey, if you want to go get a job, you need new shoes, you got to go get a job.
Yeah.
Dave Horterbaum doesn't have shoes.
Yeah. Did you get encouragement when you came home?
Yeah, I'd say yeah.
Yeah. I know you did.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I did. I grew up in a family of 8, so I'm the youngest of 8, 4
Well, you said
brothers and
10.
4 sisters.
Family of 10.
Yeah.
8, yeah.
And so I remember, like, my older brother was like, man, we were really, really, really poor. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought you just had fun. You were just
I
happy.
had a blast. I was happy.
Right.
Yeah.
There was always love. There was always encouragement.
I never looked at it as we were poor.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought everybody had the same struggles, other than like when I would go to like Austin Estates to a birthday party, and I'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
this is a
those
nice
guys on the
house, or
Austin Estates.
it's a nice home. But I grew up right downtown Barberton with the Drake boys, and the Drake boys were poor, and I grew up with all of us were down there, and it was just I thought we all lived the exact same throughout society. It wasn't until high school till I started to really figure out, okay, we are poor.
Yeah.
It's probably time to do something about it, But like 5th grade, elementary school, hand-me-downs, I thought that was like everybody did that.
Well, and the crazy thing about that is like, even when I started coaching, and I did a stint, I coached golf and I coached girls basketball at Revere. So Revere is a kind of a different district in a sense, because you're getting people from Farallon, you're getting people from Bath and Richfield, but then all of a sudden they sprinkle in Copley,
Yeah.
and a little bit in Montrose and Akron. So it's kind of a little bit different. But coaching with a couple coaches there, and then all of a sudden they're like, man, we're playing Barberton, man, it's sketchy there. And I'm like, it is? And they're like, oh, yeah, man, like this guy was walking. I go, that's Sarge. That's the guy walking.
That's funny.
Everybody's perspective is different. You gave, just moments ago, you gave some really powerful commentary. When you watch this back, you'll see it. Made me think of something. So my life was basically saved because of an African-American homosexual. And you have kids in school, you're a teacher, your daughters are graduated now. What do you guys think about how, I'm going to just say the liberals, the Democrats, because it's basically them, how they've allowed our society, especially in schools, for it to be okay and cool for boys to be walking around hand in hand kissing, girls the same thing. And listen, I have friends that are gay. I do. I wrote a book.
I was gay in the book.
But listen, if we're all honest, right?
That black homosexual turned me homosexual.
Dave, if we're honest.
Why do you keep reminding us you wrote a book?
But it's important because people don't want to talk about this stuff. Because this stuff affects our kids drastically every day. And none of us want to really speak the truth because then we're criticized.
I do not agree with it.
Okay, that's one.
I do not agree with it, no.
You don't agree? I'm sure you don't agree.
I agree with things, but I don't agree with other things. Okay, I agree that everybody has a choice here. If you wanted to be gay, you're still going to be my friend, and we're still going to hang out and do podcasts.
I'm not writing a book.
Yeah, you're not writing a book. So I'm going to think the same of you. If you came out to me in this podcast and said, this black homosexual turned me gay, we'd be like, yeah, we knew already, but I like you just the same.
Dave, you and Paul would walk the hell out of here, and Paul would be that dude's a freak.
I told you.
Podcast with him for a year and a half.
Paul, I told you. I told you.
You know that locker room talk.
No, but...
It is true. It is true. And I mean, everybody has their perceptions. But see, like, even though that I disagree with that, and I'm talking religiously speaking, biblically speaking, I disagree with it. That's my opinion. That's what I feel in my heart. That's how I raise my children. Even though that's that way, doesn't mean that I don't love that individual.
Right.
You know what I mean? And care for that individual.
They're still a human. They're still a person.
They're still a human. They're still a person and things like that. My thing is this, like, I'm in the greatest situation where I teach at a career tech school. So when you come into doors with me, I preach work ethic. You got to work. I don't care what you do. I just think, though, we have just exposed the whole sexuality part of it so much that nothing's private anymore.
No,
right.
Like nothing's personal anymore. And so it's like when you start to take something like that and it's just nothing's personal, nothing's private, everything's out in the open, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, if it's out in the open, you better be prepared to be judged.
Right.
Because you're putting it out in the open. But then when something like that happens, they go, well, why are you looking at me different? You're the one that put it out there.
Yeah.
Right? So you should expect somebody to have an opinion about it.
You would agree, though, that the moral fabric of our society has decayed, eroded, etc.
Oh,
we're screwed. Yeah,
we are so
bad.
far on the pendulum when it comes to the fabric of our United States morally has swung so far, and it just doesn't have to deal with that, but it's just, I mean, like you said before, with our politicians. One question that I asked my students was this. I said, so I'm going to offer all you guys a job. They're like, great. And I said, I'm going to pay you $70,000 a year. I said, would you take the job? They said, absolutely.
Because they heard money.
And I said, so I'm going to pay you $70,000 a year. But to get that $70,000 a year, you have to raise $300 million and give it to me, and I'm going to put it into you. They went, well, no, I'm only getting paid $70. And I go, then why does a politician do it?
Right.
Why does a politician raise $300 million to get a $70,000 a year job?
Yeah.
I get it.
That's pretty good.
So that's where,
that's Lee Hance-esque.
But that's where a lot of times they don't look at it that way because there's all those benefits that go on. Once they're in, they never go out.
Most people only hear what they're going to receive. Mm-hmm. So as soon as they heard, 70,000, they didn't care you didn't even explain what you were doing. Yep, I did. I'd take a job.
Yep.
Most people, a lot of people's first question, like I would have probably asked, well, what's the job?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like what am I going to be making 70 doing?
Yes.
Because at that point, you make 70. Yeah, I'll make 70 grand. But what am I doing? If you've got to go sleep with pigs, no, I don't want your money no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I get it.
Yep.
Well, Paul, is there anything else you want to cover here? Is there any other, and let me ask this too. If you don't have anything else or any other questions you guys have that you want to throw out there that you want to discuss here, we got about, we're getting short on time, but we still got a good 11 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I don't normally look at the clock. I'm usually Tom Brady. I'm usually Tom Brady, 2-minute warning, right? Silent.
Who's the people in the corner?
Yeah. You know that's a good. It looks like it's a frozen screen.
Yeah.
So Josh said we always did good with one person. Now we got 2 people, and then he added another 2. So I'm really kind of confused on where Josh is going with this. There we go.
No, when we came in here tonight, I was like, well, shoot, I hope Paul's got stuff ready to go. Because usually I'll put some time into thinking what we're going to talk about. And then we had Beach back, and we're going to have Beach and Paul Howe, and we're going to talk about anything and everything.
I still want to come back with
100%. With the 4 people sitting here, that we didn't have to have an itinerary of what we were speaking about. You're right. We could throw anything at this. We could
talk about it all night.
And it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I don't even think an hour's enough.
Yeah, right.
I feel like
the one thing I thought about the other day, because we were talking about Barberton and different things like that, that I thought of. Because, my dad coached in Pee Wee football and stuff like that. Thinking about the old days that every elementary had a football team.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you think about that, because I know you guys talked about Coach Gatto a couple times and Rob building a program and things like that. So what you've done is you've taken, Memorial, Woodford, Sandrock, Portage,
Johnson,
Oakdale, Johnson, Washington, Decker.
Right.
So you have 8 quarterbacks. You have 8 offensive linemen. You have 8 to 10 running backs that are now feeding into 2 middle schools.
Yeah.
Right.
In Layton Highland. So now Highland has 4 quarterbacks to choose from. And then all of a sudden it's condensed. Now you go to high school, you've got 8 quarterbacks to choose from. Now it's condensed down to where it's like there's 1 quarterback that plays in Pee Wees.
There's only 1 middle school in Barberton now, right?
Yep, 2.
Yeah.
Is it 2 or 1?
2 elementaries, right?
Yeah, 2 elementaries.
Yep. So you have 1 quarterback that goes from kindergarten all the way to the,
I still like the old school. You're weeding out all the stuff, and you're getting the best out of those people.
Yeah.
That stopped when I was in 3rd grade. They split them into the Knights and to the Magics.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Paul, my dad was born in 43, and he would always be defiant and talk about his generation and how his generation changed the times. I've always thought that our generation has been the one that's failed. We failed. In other words, like the United States is the way it is today because of us, how we were as parents, leaders, etc. Do you guys agree or no?
I think it's one ahead of us. I think we were part of some of the greatest generations to be here, just for the music wise, for the technology wise. We went from having no cable to no gaming systems to gaming systems, and in all actuality, gaming systems have pretty much ruined our society as well. But with that being said, I think it's one step up because our generation is just now starting to go into leadership as far as like politicians and things like that. You don't become a politician at our age unless you have been doing it since you were like really young.
Yeah.
So I think it's a step one politician ahead of us, or one generation ahead of us. I think our generation is pretty stellar. Actually, I think it's going to be our generation that pulls us out of the dump.
See, I personally don't think it has to do with a generation. I think it has to do with there was a plan, and they're leading to it regardless.
Well, you have
our generations might be falling into their plan, doing what they've expected us to, but I think there was a plan before us.
For those that don't know, you're talking about the New World Order.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like I think this has already been in place long before us, and we're just. I think generations are falling into.
I think gaming helped that.
What's that?
I think gaming is helping that.
Maybe.
Parents just allow it, and I know I'm a product of it too. My kid comes home from school, and if I'm not at them at the table doing homework, they're on their iPads.
Yeah.
And they're watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Or they're downstairs playing the Switch.
Yeah.
And I have to physically pull them away from there. Let's sit down, do homework. Okay, we get our homework done. Okay, you can go back to that. Before, we didn't have that.
I have none of that.
When I came home, you had your homework done, and then from there, I ran the streets until the street light was on.
Yep.
You know, I was not inside unless I was sick.
Now, I can't speak for your parents or your mom, but what I remember, we wasn't allowed in the house. Get out. We drank out of hoses. Like, why are you drinking out of a hose? Because I can't get a glass.
My mom would tell me, get out of the house.
Oh, you're right.
It's nice outside. What are you doing sitting on the couch? Go find something to do.
Yeah, get out.
Yeah.
But we didn't have things to keep us quiet then. We didn't have gaming. Now we had like
That's what I'm
Nintendo
saying.
just for
Kids
came
nowadays,
out.
they're gaming. You know, like, and even now you get scholarships for gaming. They have World Series for gaming. Like, our generation is all.
All I know, our game was call the police. There's somebody breaking in a house, and all the paddy wagons came. We were gone. It was we had a good time.
Well, let me say this too. Let me say this.
myself.
One of the big reasons I wanted Hans here tonight is because I might be stepping away for a little bit, and
You getting choked up?
yeah.
You all right?
I might be stepping away for a little bit, and I thought Hans would be a great fill-in for me. Hans, you, Beach, How, that would be must-watch fucking TV. I'd be watching that from wherever I was.
Right.
Right? So, Megan Coster, your cousin, going to be coming. She'll be a great interview. All things Barberton.
Right.
She knows so much.
Yeah.
Like, she can drop names, dates, and she was a star.
Right. No, Megan was a good. She was a great
I
basketball
don't know
player.
if I can be here for the Megan. We did go to homecoming my freshman year. I went
that's
with
right.
Megan.
Oh wow!
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That dynamic might have happened. Well,
It started off on the bad foot because I was a Lakers fan, she was a Celtic fan, so that did not work out very well.
No,
That did not work out very well.
In any event, Hans will be really good. But you should bring Howe back in with Beach with Hans, and I think that would be a great run. Of course, Coster and whoever else you would have after that. But
Well, from what Josh is saying, I think he said the 17th, Josh, 15th. So one of those. That's all he's
15th.
got. So hopefully,
15th, I think he said that he had open for you guys to do. But
Book it.
Going forward after that, I mean, you guys will have some time. I don't know how long I'm going to be away, but in any event, when a quarterback goes down, like Baker got hurt.
Yeah.
He didn't want to sit
Next
out because
man
he'll
up.
lose his fucking
Next-
job.
next man
NFL,
up.
not for long. I may lose my Hans will probably be a lot better than I am.
Next man up.
Hans might come
Minus chapter, minus
in.
page 222.
Hans might come in and be that guy that helps you go to a different level.
Oh, stop.
Come on
No,
now.
seriously.
Stop it.
Hans has
Stop
talent.
it.
Like, I'm going to give you credit, Jay.
I'm not sure you could go to another level.
No, you can't.
You're already
Hey,
at
listen,
the pinnacle.
We're hitting the ceiling as we speak.
Paul's really good. Paul's got a great voice for this stuff. He's really good. And not just Dave. A lot of people talk about me and Paul have reached out to a lot of people to do a lot of shows and didn't hear back.
Yeah.
People don't want to come on here. They get scared. Them lights come on.
Well, what's there to be
cameras
scared
start
of?
rolling. Hey,
I enjoy the
You
conversation.
enjoy it, but that's not everybody. Trust me. Me and Paul have reached out to a lot of people that never got back or couldn't do it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's not as easy as people think to come on here. And again, we've covered all kinds of subject matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you have a mayor come in here and he's been the mayor 12, 16 years in a
Right.
row, that's. You have to come and bring it that night because that's ghost.
Shout out to Bill Judge.
Yes.
and he wanted to go longer. He wasn't ready to leave.
Bill
He wanted
was
to go
fired
longer.
up. He was like, "We can do this all night." Like,
Bill, the roads are looking great in Barberton.
They are.
Barberton's,
And you know
Barberton's on its way up.
Hey, Beach, and over in that area where you guys used to do your flag football games, where the skate park is.
Yeah.
That whole area is business, and then Sheets is down the road. Like, bro, Barberton's looking nice. Barberton's looking nice, and nobody's saying, "Oh, William Judge deserves all the credit," but they want to criticize him, but
Right.
never give him any credit for it.
I think
you're exactly right.
Yeah.
He's the one that put in all that hard work for them grants, everything.
Right.
People don't realize that when he's signing these bills and he's signing these grants, it's taken 4 years. It's taken 8 years for some of this money to come in.
Exactly.
They came in, and if you go look at the roads, I mean, it's a prime example. Barberton's roads are starting to look nice.
Yeah.
They were they were so far bad that wasn't Bill's fault. By the time Bill took office, the roads were already shit. The sewer systems over there on 15th, 16th, and 17th Street had nothing to. The flooding had nothing to do with Paul or with Bill. You know, that was way before Bill.
Right.
So the Barberton, I think, is on the way up. When was the last time Barberton flooded?
3 weeks ago.
I was going to say. I mean, here recently there was something.
6 weeks ago, that seven inches we got. In that,
Yeah, but that's the first time in how many years? He's storm mitigated. He's put up, dams, locks and dams further up to mitigate the water to come down instead of it mitigating here in Barberton. It's somewhere else,
Right.
So he's done a good job.
In any event, credit to Bill Judge. I mean, you're talking about 16 years. He'll be the mayor for 16 years.
Something like that.
When it's all said and done, if he doesn't keep going.
Correct.
He could go 20.
Well, and he made mention he's got kids growing up. He didn't say what he was going to do, where I'm going, but he's got other things that he probably wants to do.
And I'm sure the 16 years that he's going to have in there will allow him the other doors to open up and that door's closed.
And that's a record. That's a record for Barberton.
He'll be the longest standing mayor ever after this.
Jason Lee Hance, Dave Beach, any last words?
No, man, I just appreciate you guys.
Hey, love you, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Man. Hey,
Paul,
I appreciate
everything.
Had a blast.
Josh,
had a good time.
Take us the hell
Shout
out
out
of
to
here.
my
Let's
wife.
go. God bless you all.
Nally, thank you.
I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities that never come unless you're paying attention, so no, I can't miss that.